There are a lot of new eras around these days, it has to be said, but this right here, the new Ford Explorer, might just be one of the most important new eras of recent decades. Not just because it's an electric car from Ford, and praise be, because where have they been? Where's the mid-sized Ford electric SUV that they've needed for the last few years? Where's the small electric car? Where's the electric Puma? With that in mind, it's good to see them launch anything electric, frankly, in the passenger car classes. But this is a new era because it is a Volkswagen. No, really, it is. I know it's all blue oval on here and it looks very American and cool, but underneath is actually Volkswagen's MEB platform, and it's even got the same batteries as you'll find in the Volkswagen ID.4 and ID.3. Prices start from just under £40,000 for the 52 kilowatt-hour battery model, which manages a range of 239 miles. But most will go for the bigger 77 kilowatt-hour extended range for its longer range of up to 374 miles. And prices for that start at £46,000. A four-wheel drive, high-performance version with a 79 kilowatt-hour battery and a frisky 335 brake horsepower gets a range of 329 miles. So we are talking here, of course, about a rival to cars like the Nissan Ariya, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Kia, well, the Niro and the EV6 really, and just so many rivals going on here. The Renault Scenic, the Peugeot E3008, it is inundated with alternatives. And I don't think it really stands out in the looks department, so I don't know that you're going to buy it for that reason, but I do think it is quite inoffensive. It's very smooth and modern looking. I quite like the light bar across the front, and Ford have tried to give it a bit of kind of American feel. It's quite blocky, and I like this styling here on the rear panel. It's quite cool. So maybe a little bit samey and forgettable, but also perfectly inoffensive and quite clean looking, so I don't mind it. I like the stance as well, it's quite wide and blocky, and that also means that you get quite a decent boot. So the load lip's not too high, you get a bit of underfloor storage, through loading in the rear seats, which also fold flat, so that's all good. I do really hate these flimsy parcel shelves that you get with the Ford, but I will forgive it that. Ultimately, it's pretty decent, but I would also say that you are getting a lot more boot space in something like the Skoda Enyaq. There's plenty of space in the rear seats too, particularly with legroom, while headroom isn't quite what it is in the Model Y and Enyaq, but a couple of adults will be really comfortable. Plus, there's a centre rear armrest and charging ports. Equipment elsewhere on the Explorer is great too, with keyless entry, 12-way electric seat adjustment and massage function, heated seats and a 14.6-inch touchscreen system on every model. And that is all good, so really good equipment. You have to go for the premium that we've got here if you want this glass roof, which is very nice. Not to mention upgraded sound system, bigger wheels, that kind of thing. But I do really like it, and that seat with the electric adjustment's really good to have that lumbar adjustment. So really comfy, visibility is pretty decent as well, and generally feels really nice in here. Check this out, this is what Ford calls the locker. So you can adjust the angle of this screen, which actually is quite useful in itself to make sure that you don't get any glare, and then you can put some gubbins down there, and this centre console here is really deep, so you can actually get like a laptop in there or something like that. It's good storage, it feels pretty well well built up here. I like this speaker on top of the dash, all pretty good. But I do have some issues with this touchscreen. The touchscreen itself is fine, graphics are fine. I'll even forgive it having the climate controls in the screen because they're permanently visible, so all right, that's okay. But it's just kind of annoying to do so many things. So if you want to change the drive modes, you have to leave your nav screen altogether, go into the drive modes, pick what you want, sport, normal, whatever. And then it doesn't revert automatically. So then you have to go back again, back to the sort of shortcuts and the navigate. It's just awkward. I've really struggled to sort of get used to this system. I don't love it, I have to say. The graphics are fine, and to be fair, I think when you've figured out what mode you want it to be in most of the time and you've got all your favourites set up, you've got your wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, so there's every chance you might just stick it in that every day and forget about it. Fine. But nonetheless, the native system I think is kind of annoying quite a lot of the time, so it does take some time to get used to. The haptic buttons on the steering wheel, predictably, this is a bit of a hangover from Volkswagen. You can notice this, the gear lever here, that's very Volkswagen. So yeah, all the touch sensitive stuff that has not gone down well in Volkswagen's MEB, the ID electric cars. Unfortunately, a lot of it's ended up in the Ford as well, including a steering wheel that you can sort of accidentally turn on the heated steering wheel very easily. That's annoying. So, not brilliant, there are a few annoying bits, but even so, feels nice and it is comfy. Charging speeds on the extended range models go up to 185 kilowatts, which is really very good even by the high standards of this class, and that means that you'll get a 10 to 85% charge in 26 minutes. The 52 kilowatt hour model tops out at 135 kilowatts, but will still get the 80% charge in under half an hour. Here we are then. It's been a long time coming, but we are finally actually driving the Ford Explorer. So we've got the dual motor version here. It's got 335 brake horsepower. It's pretty sprightly, just over 5 seconds to 62 miles an hour. And it does feel punchy as well. I mean, that is quite fast, but it's not the outright pace of this car that I really like. What I like is that everything about it feels very confident and very intuitive. And I mean, it's quite high expectations for this car, isn't it? Because Ford has got a history for making the best handling everyday cars out there. They have got some kind of witchcraft going on at Ford, because over the years, cars like the Fiesta and the Focus and this kind of thing have been head and shoulders above most of their rivals for how they drive. And I have to say, I was worried about what this would be like, because we know it's got those Volkswagen underpinnings. So how much can Ford really do? Well, turns out they can actually do quite a lot, because this drives a lot better than a Volkswagen ID.4. There's a real slickness to it, not just in quite decent ride comfort, although the roads out here in Slovenia are particularly impressive. So I think you do get a little bit of kind of jarring, quite firm ride around town on the 20-inch wheels that we've got here. But, I mean, everywhere else, it's really nice and smooth ride comfort and surprisingly good body control. But the best thing is this steering, because although it's not the most kind of textural kind of steering feel, it's got plenty of feedback, it's weighted really nicely, whether you're in normal, it weights up in sport, in normal, it's still really nice and confidence inspiring. I think I almost prefer it in normal, actually, a little bit lighter. I don't even mind it being this kind of slightly peculiar square steering wheel. It's just really lovely, it just gels, everything about it feels very slick and quite organic. It's genuinely, I think, one of the best cars in this class to drive. I really do. And that's taken me by surprise a little bit, I have to say, because inevitably coming into this, you're a bit, oh, what's it going to be like? Volkswagen underpinnings with a Ford badge. Oh, is it just going to drive like a Volkswagen? But, which is no bad thing, we like a Volkswagen. But Ford has always been brilliant at making your everyday cars drive just with a bit of magic. And this has definitely got it. I'm really, really impressed. It's really lovely to drive. I've really enjoyed my time in it out here in lovely Slovenia. You will have noticed that I'm on the wrong side of the car. That's because we're out here on the international launch. And if you notice a complete random stranger driving the car in the action shots, that's because we're using Ford's B-roll. So I apologise about that, but I'm sure that they're doing a very nice job. So do enjoy that. I mean, the key thing to take away from this is that the way this car drives, I think that might be why you buy it, because it really is pretty smart to drive. And good fun, and yet really composed and really nice everywhere else. A little bit of wind noise over this pano roof at motorway speeds particularly, so maybe not quite as refined as I'd hope at motorway speeds, but really quiet elsewhere. So just lovely, really. Really, really good. But there is still a bit of an aspect of this in terms of what is the unique selling point of this car. So I've been thinking about this. The way it drives definitely, I think, is up there. I think that is possibly why you would buy this car, because it, like I said, really genuinely impressive. But it's still got quite an annoying infotainment system. You can still turn the heated steering wheel on by accident all of the time. It's got all sorts of weird, annoying little touches. You know, the dreaded kind of button here that you have to press a button to do the rear windows from the front. Just little irritations. Things that we've been moaning about in MEB, the Volkswagen ID cars, for ages. And not only that, so, you know, a 3-year, 60,000 mile warranty on this car. It's nothing really special, is it, with Hyundai and Kia out there. A Skoda Enyaq is bigger, more practical. A Hyundai Ioniq 5 certainly has more style, kind of wow factor. Other cars out there charge faster. So what is the unique selling point of this car? I don't know. Maybe, like I said, it's the way it drives. Look, ultimately, that's my concern. I worry that this is a really decent, really competent, very likeable car that drives brilliantly. So I hope it will do really well, but I worry that in context of the rivals, I don't know how much it's got going for it in the market to get people into dealerships to buy it. So I hope they do, because it drives brilliantly and I like it. But I do think it needs to have some decent finance deals to get people through the door before Ford are going to sell a lot of these. So there you have it. It's good, and fingers crossed it might sell well, but we'll see. That's the Ford Explorer. Don't forget to head to CarGurus.co.uk for a whole host of fantastic used cars, loads of very good Fords out there and loads of really good electric cars. And please do, you know what to do, you're here, please do leave us a comment, tell us what you think of the Ford Explorer. Like the video, subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel and turn those notifications on so that you don't miss any of our videos.